everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing Blue-White Helping Hand, and you may know my channel and you may have seen me interact with this deck in the past because holy cow, when I'm against this deck, I hate it. I hate this deck. Like, this deck is so good, and it's so annoying to have 3 removal spells basically mean nothing because they cast a third version of Helping Hand. Or they do the cool thing and cast it for its alternate casting cost, which is 3 mana, put a giant creature into play I can't kill. So this deck is super sick. And if you're looking for more of a blue-white budget deck, maybe you play blue-white control and you're just like, dude, that I cannot play it in this meta. This is something you can potentially look into. It's doing well in challenges and things like that. And I already have it split up in the way that you would look at it. So outside of the lands, a lot of times when I talk about budgets and decks, I don't include the lands. I understand that is part of the budget. But if you're playing a multicolored archetype, I would recommend crafting those lands for that archetype you're wanting to. If you're playing a ton of Golgari variants, I would recommend crafting all the green-black lands that you're going to think are relevant. Outside of that, these are all commons. These are all uncommons. These are rares, and this is a mythic. So right now you have 8 rares and 4 mythics in terms of actual spells that are in your deck, outside of the lands, of course. And we can obviously mismatch some of these. You can play some other type of lands that'll be a little bit worse, obviously, but there are like the desert lands and things like that you can sub in. But overall, this is a kind of a budget deck, which is really nice. But what is this deck's purpose? What does this deck do? It revolves entirely around Haughty Djinn and I call him the eyeball, and I'm going to continue to do so. So, this guy, the eyeball. But Haughty Djinn says, flying whenever Haughty Djinn's power is equal to the number of instant sorcery cards in your graveyard, and instant sorceries cost 1 generic less to cast. That means it doesn't reduce like a blue, for example, if you have a 2 blue spell, like we would in 3 steps ahead, but it does get rid of that extra 1 we have to pay. Other than that, we have the eyeball. As an additional cost to cast a spell, exile 6 cards from your graveyard. Flying. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, manifest dread. That means we look at 2 cards, we put one of them face down. If it's a creature, we can flip it up for its mana cost. You'll see that with a Haughty Djinn on one of these games where I put it underneath. Our opponent doesn't attack. We don't have to block with it. And I just flip up a 10-4. So that was pretty cool. So with that said, our deck is entirely around getting cards in our graveyard and using reanimate spells, whether that is Sleight of Hand, counting itself, finding the reanimate, Moment of Truth, putting a card in our hand, putting one of these in the graveyard, and putting another card at the bottom. Chart of Course, getting these out of our hand if we just draw them naturally. Picklock Prankster to mill us for 4, grabbing the best card. Flood Maw to make sure we don't die to those pesky red players. The Phantom Interference is kind of the same. We get to do a cool play with this, with countering a 1-mana Leyline Binding to win the game, so that's very cool. Other than that, we have the 3 steps ahead and the Soul Partitions as kind of the filler spots. I talk a little bit more about how you could replace these potentially in the outro if you're going super budget and you only really have enough to craft these. But as you can see, we have 2 recommissions and 4 helping hands, so you can immediately do this or play like Earth Ties Resolve, I believe it's called, for this card if you truly are trying to go budget out this deck. But with that said, what are we doing with these? This is Helping Hand. Return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Of course, that works with these. And Recommission. Return target artifact or creature card from mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's a creature, it enters with a 1/1 counter, which is very nice. Or, again, you can just do the alternate casting cost and just cast this for 3 mana. Sometimes you have to do it with Arc-like Phoenix and Pioneer. Sometimes we have to cast a 13-4 for 3 mana. I know, quite a shame to have to spend 3 mana for a 1-shot lethal creature sometimes, but it is what it is. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and dive into the games. Hope you all enjoyed them. And if you do enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. We have recently hit 2K. That's very exciting to see. It was not as hard as getting to the first 1,000, but it just means we're all growing. We're all growing together, and that's very cool to see. So with that said, let's go in and see if we can't give our opponent these hands that Haughty Djinn is wielding. All, I think? I don't think we'd ever keep that hand, right? And we just get rid of Soul Partition, I guess? Like we're like okay with one of these in hand, but like the way that hand was trying to get us to do stuff, there's no way. We don't really need more mana. We'll find that. Fades, most likely. If a creature in opponent control would die, exile it instead. Very cool. Interesting card that I never play against, ever. Like... Going up now, I suppose. Let's mill here. They have 2 mana. They missed a land drop. Here goes an eyeball. There goes a counter spell, which is very nice. I can now sleight of hand, but I definitely want to play this land regardless, I suppose. Could technically bring a Haughty Djinn back, but I'd like to do that whenever I can actually hold this up. So I guess we can look for it, but I can also look for it next, like on their end step. Let's sleight of hand here. Let's just put Into the Flood Maw in our hand. Put the other card on the bottom. Give us more bounce, more nonsense to do. I could just play the Prankster as well. I think I would rather just like wait, let them try to attack, because we know their hand's full of removal. Arena's not bugged. You're insane if you think Arena's bugged. I mean, I'll take 2. 2's not a big deal for us right now. Sure. I can bounce that and make it a fit. I could counter that, I guess. That's pretty good. I'm down to counter that, actually. I just see him go for it. We know they missed lands, so there's like a little bit more of an incentive to not like let that stay around, I guess. And now we can just rip the eyeball out, I guess. And we say go. This trigger's gonna happen regardless. You can obviously go for the throat it, but Anoint, very good. Very good card. That's fine. Can't bounce it with our spells. But again, this manifest happens regardless. Let's put Into the Flood Maw underneath there. Maybe they'll do something about it. We'll fake block. Maybe they'll pump, and then we will just put it back in their hand. Exactly what we wanted. You can pick that back up. Alright, we can start making choices, making options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I thought the purpose of this deck was to reanimate stuff, but I guess it's just to hard cast the eyeball. They probably have another Anoint or another Go for the Third or something. I'm gonna put the Archive underneath there, put the other spell in our graveyard, I suppose, because that helps Haughty Djinn. I forgot that the manifest puts the other one in the graveyard, and my opponent concedes. Okay. I just, wow, what a card, man. They hate creature decks, I tell you that much. The Shadow is cool against mono red, because if they do sack their creature, it's like an exile effect without having to play something like a Leyline of the Void in the main board, but we win. We'll move on. Yeah, I mean, we have a helping hand. We don't necessarily have a way to discard this, but if our Archive hits, that's pretty cool. That's pretty pog champ, right? Right, team? That's right. Or we'll fight. I'll keep a land, though. Oftentimes, like, you're fine with just throwing as many things down there in the pits as you can, but for us, like, I'd rather just hit our land drops and make sure everything's castable. Because on 2 mana, like, the way this all works. Let's just counter that. For it. You know? That's one of their better cards at keeping pace with us. I'm just here for it. You know? And I could obviously chart a course, but I think I'm opting to go for the Moment of Truth here, or even like the Picklock Prankster, I guess. Yeah, nothing going on there. We're pranking. And now we get to bring the counter spell back, which is pretty cool. Chart a course can put that Haughty Djinn in that graveyard, but we have to play around Tranquil Frill back, I guess. So I don't necessarily want to do much. I'll put the land in my hand. We're building our hand up. I don't need to really cast anything here, I don't think. I'm just gonna put that in play and just have it start slugging my opponent, I suppose. We getting frill backed? Oh, okay. That's fine. That's fine by me. Now we cast Chart a Course, obviously getting rid of this Haughty Djinn. You know it's coming back. And cut down obviously won't be good, but a lot of things can be good. Like that. We protected this turn. We have another reanimate spell, so it's not like it will go away. But if that's all they kind of had loaded up and ready to go, then, you know, we're good. Another force to use their mana to get rid of it right now. And with that said, 1 mana, I'll bring it back. That's just Chart a Course. Discard this land. Now we have a 3 steps ahead. It's a counter spell. A hard one at that, and there was no pause there. So only like a Gix command or something works. I'll allow it. Counter. Cost 1 less, right? So this is 2 mana. We'll counter that. You have a go for the third after all that? Did you draw the go for the third, I guess? That's like insane, right? Hey, man. Stop removing it, bro. Dude, this is how I feel on the other end. Honestly, a land's great for them. Kinda. I will freak out. Put one of these cards into my hand. This one. Put one of them into my graveyard. This one. And you can go in the library. Please counter that spell. What's that Pokemon? Might as well do this. See how close to one-shotting our opponent we can be. This. Grab this one. I don't think we're getting too close to one-shotting them. But yeah. Alright, draw another removal spell. Why not? I know we went bar for reanimate spells to removal spells. But look, no wonder why I felt like that. So many go for the turns at 3. But okay, very cool. A lot of mana, but I'm actually okay with this. I've noticed a lot of times with mana, I'm pretty happy with just about anything in this type of a deck. We dirtle so hard, like our value so high, that it's kind of hard to ever get beat as long as we have a mana and some amount of cards to play. And like example of that is Picklock Prankster, of course. I want to be known I'm playing this deck moments like weeks after, or not weeks, I would say, but like I'm playing this deck immediately after the last 2 to 3 days of just playing Leyline of the Void in my main board and just being like, hey man, deal with this, by the way. Like, yeah, dude, sure, why not? I probably helping hand it here, right? Yeah. All right, good boy, he's ready. I could Soul Partition it. I don't really want to have to do that. I really hope it's just like a, my opponent fumbles and dies. I mean, if that's the case, I just allow that to happen, right? We'll exile that. We'll make it 4 mana. They can do it again later. Cast this thing. Nothing in there for me to recommission. Now, the only thing for the opposite to be true of what I've said is, like, it kind of sucks now for us that... Oh, they're milling. Okay. They're going for it. Sure. I could Flood Maw that, but I just don't think it's worth it. Oh, 2 mana. Tough hands all around, huh? Turn. I mean, realistically, next turn, depending on what I draw, this could be lethal. They cast this, are they likely to get there? It's like the weirdest thing, because like permanent card, right? So they get that. That's something they can put in play that I can bounce. I don't really have a good reanimate target in there. Ah! Thank you. I had nothing. Like, I had no way to draw any spells, dude. Oh boy. I have a lot of draw. I have some bounce. We have some play here. We'll keep. I don't know why I had like a panic attack there trying to spit that out, but sure. You have a shock? Oh, dude, aren't you crazy? I will go ahead and time walk you. Please leave me alone. This is my pillow fort, and I love it. We just pass. I just have like better looks. Yeah. Huh? I think my opponent has trust issues. Moment of truth. I put one of these in my hand, put the other one into the graveyard, and put the other one into Narnia. Okay. So I put this in my hand. I don't want to do that. I'm gonna grab this one. Go in the graveyard. You go on the bottom. Ooh, there's a Haughty Djinn. We were so close if we would have sleight of hand. The Haughty Djinn would have been the card on top of my library. Never mind, it's in there anyway. Yeah. Go for sleight of hand here. Maybe we'll find a helping hand or something. Or maybe we won't. Who knows? I'll grab this. I like the cheaper spell of the two. And realistically, we want to try to bounce this on their end step. Charming Scoundrel, that's interesting. Sure. Sure. Yeah, why not, dude? That's yours. You can have it back. Take my one. That's all yours, dude. Another Into the Flood Maw. So we have a couple of options. I can play the eyeball. Interesting. They have a lot of mana though. I'm playing the eyeball. My 6 mana. This is my 5/5. Might have like shock, play with fires, things like that, but we'll see what happens. You can go under there. I'll let you know I put a helping hand in there. Makes me a little upset. Another land from them? Wow. I also don't have a ton of reps on this deck, so this might all just be a mistake. Oh. Okay. Burden galore, huh? I feel like you offer up the 1/1 trait, right? Like, that's crazy not to offer that up. Am I insane? I don't think so. Play a Haughty Djinn. I have a whole lot going on. Oh, they just really do keep hitting lands, huh? Skipping the whole team? No way. No way, dude. Sure. Maybe Shocking Face would have been the solution. Nah, Nah, they don't need to think about that. Why think about that when you could do anything else, right? Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Can I find a helping hand or something, please? Recommission will do it. Put this into hand. Put this into graveyard. And put this into somewhere other than my hand, obviously. Here. We'll take one. We'll bring back one of the eyeballs. Am I dead to that? No, yeah, because untapped. Okay. Very cool. Very hip. That one. No spell. Draw a 7th land. Mono red. Or lightning strike me. That'd also be cool. If it's a fling and you disrespect me like this, it'd be kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. It'd be kind of funny. Yeah? Now it's not funny anymore. Oh! Oh! They don't know, but they're dead! Yeah. Oh. That's lethal, right? I gotta make it any more complicated than I have to. Right there. I win that game. I mean, I think we see how I won that game. But how did I win that game? You know what I'm saying? Opponent goes first. Sleight of hand, counter spell. Like, this isn't an inexperienced keep. Doesn't matter. I cap. Like I died. Never mind. Oh, they didn't play anything on turn 1. That's crazy. I will take that card. Thank you. Have at thee. Play Picklock, dude. You don't mean it. You don't want to pay. You don't. They're playing poison! Oh, we have to keep here. We have to hold up counterspell. We have to. I've demanded it. Alright, counterspell doesn't really work. What? Oh, you afraid of a smite? Like, I don't feel like... I'm so confused. Because they're not playing as though they have a protection spell, right? Because there's no way they don't attack if they don't have, like, a snakeskin veil. And if they snakeskin veil me, I don't know what they're doing. Okay? Now they could have drawn one, everything changes. But, like, at the same time... What? Like... Yeah? What? You picking it? Are you picking her back up? No. You don't have to. You can shore up it. You have multiple different protection spell color types. Like... Alright. Now just, you know... Pick it up or don't. I don't even want to talk to anybody anymore. Like, I don't even want to acknowledge my opponent's existence anymore. Yeah. Huh. Are they playing this like this is the hardest combo deck they've ever played in their entire life? This is how I felt when I picked up my first commander deck. I was like, dude, what's going on? I don't know. They're just like... They have nothing. Okay. Maybe they have removal. I have no idea, dude. Like... And guess this for 1 mana and hope it's good enough. You don't have another creature. There's no way you would have another creature. Like, this isn't going to counter anything ever, right? So, like, I might as well just get this. It makes my Haughty Djinn bigger, and hopefully Haughty Djinn can close the game faster. Mamma Mia, Papa Pia. This is Domino's Pizza. Please help. Didn't think there was anything in there. We'll put this in our hand. Play this. And I'll hit them for 5. Now a little part of me is like, maybe I just give them a fish, but bounce this, you know? They can't protect that. Sure. Yeah. Oh, this is Patrick. Now, I guess. I don't care. Like, if they keep taking damage, my Haughty Djinn's going to be lethal. I can barely tap a mana for anything at this point. I draw a spell that just like draws cards and lets me play Magic the Gathering as a win condition. I have a 6/4. That can probably do it. I mean, I get to... Look, it's not lethal. Dude. I respect it, man. I respect people that, like, don't want to play the decks that just lay line. Like, this card is nuts and very obvious decks. And I understand wanting to play something spicy and different. But, man, oh, man, does this not look significantly worse than what they're already doing? And I get it. I like that. But holy guacamole, man. That was a gaming experience. One goes first. No bounce. A little bit of a helping hand here. A lot of things to like kind of get stuff in the yard. All right. Man, every time I'm like, this hand's kind of cool. Hope they don't put in a dude against me, because that would suck. I guess it's just like Charter Course here, right? Because if I ever draw one, we know how this game goes. I'm immediately going to draw one. But with white and black mana, see, exactly, dude. Like, this game sucks sometimes, man. We'll Charter Course now, because obviously we want to put the Haughty Djinn in there and find the best stuff we can. Finding another lander is actually pretty good. We have a healthy amount of spells that we want to do. Here's right here, dude. I'll set him up top just for you. Oh no, this is blue-white. Help me. Help me, soldier, please. I mean, obviously we're gonna go for the reanimate. They could hit me with a no more lives, I guess. All right, he's in play. I will pass. This gets cracked. I don't know what they're doing yet. I'm learning what they're doing. All right. Is Moment of Truth better? I guess so, because I get to kind of pick. Or is this 4 cards? This is 4 cards, so I guess this is better. I guess. Yeah. Hello, eyeballs? We want to talk about that? Like, y'all want to be on the same part of my deck? Hello? This is why whenever you play against this deck and you see the card is 8 billion miles down south somewhere, this is why. It's stupid stuff like that. That is exactly why. Well, gamers, I still think it's just Haughty Djinn here. Give us too much value. Like on its own. He's just too good. This one. I can respond by binding him again, but I'll get rid of that. Now I have a cheesy little counter spell maybe. The only problem is leyline binding is like unstoppable. But I can do cheeky stuff like Flood Maw and things like that if I can find them. Yeah. Got a binding, Chief? 1 mana binding. Look at that. You've assembled Wooburg. Opted for this one. Put one of these into my hand. It'll be that one. Put one of these in the graveyard and put one of these in the bottom of my library. Oh, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Let's see if they tap out for anything. That'd be sick. I'll play a 5 mana dude. I guess. Okay, never mind. You want to play a 5 mana dude? Okay. I'd like to give you a fish. Alright. Alright. 3 steps ahead is what we're after. I guess that means I should do this one. Helping Hand. Moment of truth. I can double counterspell, make them pay 4 mana, in which they can get around. Put one of these in my hand. Yes. Graveyard. Bottom. This doesn't feel like a great matchup for me. I'm not gonna lie here. I have to play this for the blue mana. But 11? You want half your life total gone. Okay. Here. Please go for Sunfall. Oh. Here's a little guy. You think you can get in there? Hey, the 2. No? Okay. Let's go! Can't pay the 2 now, huh? Let's go, dude. Oh, I'm so sorry if anybody has me on their TV. I'm yelling and waking up your child. Man, oh man, imagine right there with a 1 mana leyline binding, we get this thing to work. Because that's all we had, bro. That was it. We have a helping hand to bring back, like, old One-Eye McGee over here. But with that said, very cool game. I enjoyed that one. That was crazy. That feels like such a bad matchup, but boy, oh boy, was it fine. All right, team, before I start going back on my losing streak, I'm going to call it there. Also, I'm getting, like, I have a lot of work I have to do with the Ultimate Guard booth in Vegas. I'm going to talk about it here in the outro. But I will be in Vegas if anybody's interested in coming by and saying hi. I'd love to meet anybody. It'd be cool. I understand. I'm not the biggest channel in the world. Maybe not the most popular dude of all time. That's fine, you know. Maybe somebody wants to vibe with the boys, you know. I'm just being an idiot. But yeah, so doing a lot of work there, we basically have to get entire POS systems set up with all the product that they're going to bring in, and it's a very tedious, like, mind-numbing task, so it's hard to do. And immediately after, we host a $20,000 tournament at the store I work at. So back-to-back weekends, I'm going to do a massive con and then run a massive tournament. It's very cool, very cool. So videos might tend to be a little bit shorter, like gameplay wise will probably be roughly like anywhere between 30 to 40 minutes until I'm kind of out of the woods, I guess you can call it. Also, it's kind of hard in this format currently to get a lot of games in that aren't just the same mono red leyline pile, right? So I record extra long to make sure that happens. Let's talk about this deck. If you've been interested in this list, this deck's good. Just sometimes it folds in on itself, and that's super annoying. I think the best example I can give is in that game when I cast one of the Picklock Pranksters. We saw 3 of the eyeballs go into the graveyard at the same time. Sometimes that happens, but those eyeballs are in the bottom half of your deck or the bottom 20 cards of your library, and there's nothing you can do about it, like at all, right? So it is just, sometimes your deck will literally just fold on itself. That's what this deck can do sometimes. But on the other hand, it's so good. It's annoyingly good. It's just like every time you think you have it beat, they just helping hand a Haughty Djinn out like we did. And then they say, can you answer it for the 4th time? And you go, no. Who, why, how could anybody do that? Who, what? Like, no, of course I can't. And then you're like, hit you for 1 combat and it's lethal. Like, see you later, bye. You know what I mean? It's super annoying. But the main thing I will give this deck credit for more than anything else is just affordability to craft. Obviously, lands I kind of cut out of craft contention because I do think lands are the most important thing that you should craft if you are crafting stuff. Like, pick an archetype that you really enjoy if it's blue-white variants. So not just blue-white control, but if you like blue-white, like this deck, and blue-white control, and blue-white, like, auras, like, craft the blue-white lands first, and then work on all the other pieces. But this deck, in terms of affordability, I mean, uncommon, common, uncommon, common. So, like, in terms of outside the lands, you have a total of 8 rares and 4 mythics. So it is a very good budget option outside of the lands. Which, like, you can argue or whatever. Because at the end of the day, like, if you're going to play a 2-color deck, you kind of need the lands to function. Like, these are a requirement. Now, obviously, I would argue that these are a requirement. But you could cut this. Like, it's good. But you could cut it. Is this good? Absolutely. But there's other counter spells that if you're really tight on like rares and mythics, you can cut this and play another hard counter spell. This just has tremendous upside because it is just a counter. Like, if I was to cut this immediately, if it's still legal, is it Urtai? Or how do you spell it? I don't know how to spell his name. There's Urtai Scorn. This is a very good counter spell that you can play. Now, it does require double blue, and it's a little stressful, but if your opponent casts a second spell that turn, it gets reduced, and now it's just a blue and a colorless. But with a Haughty Djinn, it's just a blue. 1 mana hard counter spell to counter the second spell. Like, for example, in that last spot where my opponent casts a Jace, let it get countered and cast a Leyline, this would have been 1 blue mana to cast. So it can definitely find a spot in there if you're, like, really strapped for it. It's an uncommon. Or you can just maybe try playing Negate. Maybe that'll work. Or maybe you can try playing some other things. A card I am kind of surprised we don't play is Thundertrap Trainer. I know this is a rare, and we were talking about budget reasons. But this card kind of seems sick for the deck. I understand it doesn't get big or puts, like, cards in your graveyard. But at the same time, like, kind of having this, I don't know, find, like, the helping hands and stuff would be cool. But it doesn't get any bigger. I guess it's not as good as the Prankster. Just because it says 4 mana do the same thing, but also has upside. So maybe shut up, chat. So, like, outside of that, I mean, this deck's fun. If you like kind of dirtling and putting in one big large threat and reanimating, this is like the deck for you, most likely. But outside of that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.